Wait, what if the story you've been hearing about the Middle East conflict is only half of the picture? What if the reason behind the sudden talk of a ceasefire is not diplomacy, but damage that nobody wants to openly admit? In the last few days, something very unusual happened. Right after Mojtaba was reportedly chosen as Iran's new supreme leader, former U.S. President Donald Trump sent a surprising signal. He told Israeli media that a final decision about a ceasefire could come at the right time. For many observers, that statement sounded strange. Just days earlier, Western media reports suggested that the United States had suffered very limited losses in the conflict. Some reports even claimed only a handful of American soldiers had been killed. At the same time, strong statements were coming from Israel saying that whoever leads Iran, the pressure and military pursuit would continue. But suddenly, after the leadership change in Iran, the tone shifted. A ceasefire signal appeared, so the big question people are now asking is simple. Why the sudden change? Before we continue, if you enjoy deep geopolitical analysis like this, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Here on Prime World Report, we break down global conflicts, world politics, and the hidden strategies shaping international events. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps these discussions going. Now let's look at the situation more carefully. The truth is that while Iran has clearly suffered serious damage during the conflict, the United States and its allies may also have faced much larger challenges than many reports suggest. According to multiple regional discussions and analysts, Iran launched missile and drone strikes targeting several American military facilities. Across the Middle East, the United States operates dozens of bases throughout the region, and many of them are strategically important. Locations in Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates are not just military outposts. They are critical hubs for projecting American power across the Middle East. If those bases are repeatedly targeted, even without total destruction, it exposes something important. Defending every installation across such a large region is extremely difficult. For Washington, the risk is not only physical damage, but the possibility that continued escalation could make these bases increasingly vulnerable. And if key bases are under constant threat, maintaining long-term operations becomes far more complicated. Another issue involves American economic and strategic assets across the region. The Middle East is not just about military presence. It is also filled with infrastructure connected to global energy, technology, and logistics networks. U.S. companies operate data centers, energy facilities, offices, and service hubs throughout the region. In times of escalating conflict, many of these sites could potentially become targets. Oil infrastructure in particular is extremely sensitive. Even small disruptions can affect global energy markets. There have also been reports of tensions affecting shipping routes, especially in and around the Persian Gulf. If tankers feel unsafe traveling through those waters, global oil supply chains could quickly become unstable. For any U.S. administration, avoiding that scenario is a major priority because energy shocks can trigger economic consequences worldwide. At the same time, Israel itself has also faced increasing pressure. Cities like Tel Aviv and Haifa are not only population centers but also home to key industrial and economic infrastructure. Facilities such as airports, refineries, and water systems are extremely important for national stability, even if missile defenses intercept many incoming threats. The constant possibility of strikes forces governments to remain cautious. Missile defense systems are powerful, but they are not unlimited. Systems like Patriot batteries, THAAD, and Israel's Iron Dome are designed to protect against attacks, but prolonged conflict can stretch even the best defense networks. When missiles, drones, and rockets are launched in large numbers, defending every target becomes a difficult task. Another point many analysts have raised is air superiority. In modern warfare, controlling the skies is often considered a decisive advantage, but gaining that advantage against a large country with layered air defenses is never simple. Iran has spent years building a network of radar systems, missile batteries, and defensive capabilities designed specifically to prevent foreign air forces from operating freely over its territory. Reports suggest that numerous drones have been shot down during the conflict, indicating that complete control of Iranian airspace has not been achieved. Without full air superiority, military operations become slower, riskier, and much more expensive. Then there is the issue of ground warfare, which is something most military planners would prefer to avoid. Iran has a large standing military, and it also has reserve forces and paramilitary groups that could be mobilized in a national emergency. A full-scale ground conflict would likely require enormous resources and could lead to unpredictable consequences for the entire region. For that reason, many strategists believe that no side truly wants the conflict to escalate to that level. From a political perspective, calling for a ceasefire at the right moment can sometimes be a strategic decision rather than a sign of weakness. Leaders often calculate when continuing a conflict will produce diminishing returns. If the costs, military, economic, and political, start to rise faster than the potential gains, shifting toward negotiations or a pause in fighting can become the smarter option. For Trump or any other political figure discussing the situation, suggesting a ceasefire might simply reflect that calculation. However, even if open fighting slows down or temporarily stops, the broader rivalry between the United States, Israel, and Iran is unlikely to disappear. History shows that geopolitical competition often continues through other methods. Economic sanctions, cyber operations, intelligence activities, and diplomatic pressure frequently become the next phase after direct confrontation. In other words, even if the missiles stop, the struggle for influence in the Middle East will almost certainly continue in different forms. Iran's economy could still face strict sanctions and financial restrictions. Regional alliances could shift, and political pressure inside and outside the country could grow stronger. For Iran, long-term security may depend on strengthening its defense systems and building stronger economic partnerships abroad. Many analysts believe that improving trade relationships and investing heavily in defensive technology are two of the main strategies countries use to protect themselves in an unstable geopolitical environment. But whether those strategies will succeed depends on many unpredictable factors, including global alliances, economic conditions, and future leadership decisions across multiple countries. So when you hear sudden talk of a ceasefire, it's rarely just about peace. Behind every announcement are calculations about military strength, economic risk, and political survival. The real story is often much more complex than the headlines suggest, and that's exactly why discussions like this matter. Here on Prime World Report, we try to look beyond the surface and understand the deeper forces shaping world events. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the ceasefire signals are a sign that the conflict has reached its limits? Or do you believe this is only a pause before a much bigger confrontation in the future? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this analysis interesting, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who follow global politics. Your engagement helps more people discover Prime World Report, and it keeps these conversations going.